Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk on this Tuesday morning. It is beautiful outside with some clouds out there. Going to be warm. It's already 68 degrees as you get going on this Tuesday, the last day of March. We are approaching April already in this new year, 2026. That's another look from our High 5 camera at Midtown Memphis. Some clouds out there, certainly. It's going to be warmer today, more humid as well. Going to feel like late spring, early summer. We'll be talking more about the forecast later this morning on Action News 5's digital desk. But right now, I want to talk about some of the top stories, and I also want to let you know that we are going to dip into the Criminal Justice Center at Shelby County later this morning, where there's going to be a couple of deputies expected in court on charges regarding something that happened, an incident that happened over the last 24 to 48 hours. These Shelby County Sheriff deputies, they are expected in court any moment now. These are the two Shelby County deputies that are charged with aggravated assault. I'll get to that in just a minute, but first I want to talk about today's headlines right now, and we begin with the big story of the morning that is just south of the medical district near Danny Thomas. That's where officers were called about 1:40 this morning. Actually on St. Paul Avenue, where they found a man shot. He was pronounced dead on scene. Investigators say the suspect was last seen driving away in a gray car. Anyone with information is asked to call or text Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous and be eligible for a reward. That number is 901-528-CASH. I want to show you this. This is dash cam video of that school bus that crashed last Friday. You can see the school bus goes across the center line there, hitting that TDOT truck, and as a result, two 8th graders were killed as they were headed to a STEM conference in Jackson, Tennessee. This happened in Carroll County, Tennessee, and certainly it is a long road ahead for many of the students in that school bus crash. One of them is 14-year-old Bryson Reagan, who was hospitalized in Memphis at Le Bonheur. He suffered a broken leg and a broken pelvis. He said the hardest part of all of this is knowing that two students, 8th graders, girls, lost their life in that crash. Just an awful situation. It's still unclear exactly why the school bus crossed the center line. THP and a number of investigators say the case is still ongoing. Tyree Nichols' mother wants to drop the 5 former Memphis police officers charged in her son's death from the civil lawsuit she has against the city of Memphis. Rovon Wells and her attorneys filed a dismissal of claims against Edwin Martin, Desmond Mills, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith. She argues that after nearly 3 years, she can't afford to wait for criminal charges to be resolved against the former officers. Only the city of Memphis objected to their removal. All 5 former officers await sentencing as a new federal trial was granted. Let's talk now about Cornelius Smith, one of the men that's an accused gunman in the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph. He had his court date reset to next month. Smith was expected to accept the plea deal earlier this year, but attorneys said they needed more time to cover specifics of the plea deal. Cornelius Smith testified against the other gunman, Justin Johnson, in September 24. Johnson was found guilty. He's serving a life sentence. Smith's attorney told the judge safety concerns are delaying the plea process. Smith's court date is now reset to May 15th, pending a safe place for him within the Tennessee Department of Corrections. As I mentioned, 2 Shelby County deputies charged with aggravated assault will appear in court later this morning. At any moment, court documents say June Armstrong pointed a gun at a man while he was fixing his car, and that's when Israel Muhammad, that you see here, began choking him from behind. A witness said that Armstrong gave his gun to somebody else while on scene once police were called. You may remember Muhammad is one of the deputies who rescued 2 boys from a freezing pond earlier this year in southeast Memphis. Both men are on leave without pay. Arlington Mayor Mike Wisman says his shoplifting citation over the weekend is an unfortunate misunderstanding. He's accused of trying to steal 2 pairs of shorts from the Dillards at Wolf Chase this past Friday. They were valued at $70. In a statement, he says he appreciates the professionalism of the courtesy involved, and he looks forward to resolving this issue. The family of Lakeisha Newsome is still in mourning after she died from a vicious dog attack in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Investigators say she was found badly injured earlier this month. She later died from those injuries after multiple surgeries. The dog's owner now facing charges. Newsome's family says more accountability is needed. They are pushing for change, hoping to prevent another tragedy like this from happening again. Family set up a GoFundMe to cover funeral costs. Lakeisha's mother says Holly Spring police told her last week that the dogs were still alive but couldn't say whether they would be put down. Action News 5 has asked police and the DA whether Sandra Harris's charges will be upgraded. We are waiting for a response. Crockett County, Tennessee inmate who escaped from jail is in court this morning and facing new charges. Gerald Samples escaped last week from the Crockett County jail, was later recaptured on Saturday. He's being held at a maximum security prison at the Obion County Sheriff's Office. Investigators say Samples now has new counts of felony escape, felony theft, and several federal child exploitation charges. Tomorrow, we're expected to learn how your taxpayer dollars were spent at Memphis Shelby County schools over the last 3 years. Tennessee state lawmakers will announce the findings of the $7.6 million audit and discuss next steps. Memphis State Representative Mark White says it reveals a lack of oversight and squandering. He says the state's Memphis Shelby County schools takeover bill will pass once the audit is released. The school board put a pause on an alternative path earlier this month. Action News 5 will be in Nashville for tomorrow's announcement. Looking ahead, Tennessee state leaders are launching Operation Hands Free. It's an initiative in partnership with local, state, and law enforcement, along with traffic safety officers, designed to crack down on texting and driving. Get this, state data from February of 25 through January of this year shows a crash involved a distracted driver every 43 minutes and 55 seconds. Operation Hands Free officially kicks off tomorrow. A brutal end to the Memphis Grizzlies game last night. They had clipped 50 losses after falling 131-105 to the Phoenix Suns. The Grizzlies went into the fourth quarter down just 2 points, but Phoenix opened up the gap big time. Devin Booker led the Suns with 36 points. Tyler Burton led the Grizzlies with 17. Memphis stays at home for a matchup tomorrow night against the New York Knicks. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock downtown at FedEx Forum. Memphis Tigers head coach Penny Hardaway adding some new and familiar faces to his staff next season. The program officially welcoming back former player and assistant Tony Matlock after spending 4 seasons as the head coach at Alabama State. Led the Hornets to the SWAC championship and a win in the first four, of the NCAA tournament. Alongside Matlock, Hardaway is adding Trevor Deloach and Sean Mosk as well. And the Memphis Tiger Lady Women's Program will introduce a new head coach, Hannah Hayden, in a press conference tomorrow. Hayden comes after spending 2 seasons at Georgia Southern. She had an incredible record there, 23-8 last season. She led the school to its first regular season conference championship in 25 seasons, earning her the Sun Belt Coach of the Year. And tickets are still on sale for the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. Get yours now, and you could not only win a new home, but also a new car. Take a look here. Each $100 ticket reserves your chance to win your choice of a brand new 2026 Honda HR-V LX or a 2026 Nissan Kicks SV. It's courtesy of Wolf Chase Honda, Wolf Chase Nissan. The prize is good through April 24th. You don't want to wait because tickets, like every year, will sell out. All the money raised in the Dream Home giveaway goes to finding cures and saving lives at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, where kids are treated at no cost to their families. You can call 1-800-224-6681 or go to dreamhome.org and reserve your ticket right now. Another live look from our High Five camera downtown Memphis, where it is a comfortable 71 degrees at 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're back in 1 minute on Action News 5's Digital Desk. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to bring in the government and politics reporter for the Daily Memphian right now. We got Sam Hardiman joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Talk about a couple of articles that he writes for the Daily Memphian. You could also see this at dailymemphian.com, one of which talks about the property taxes that could be filed for XAI in Memphis. Very curious about this one. Sam, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you. I always enjoy reading your articles, and this is one of two we're discussing today.
Yep.
So one of the things, that one of the last conversations we had to deal with what might perhaps be their property tax for the upcoming year and how that would be dispersed among Memphis, because many people talk about that aspect of having them here. One of the benefits is a large property tax bill going to the local economy. What did you find out?
Yeah, that's right, Andrew. And so we requested some records from the Shelby County Assessor's Office for XAI. And what we found is the company has been appraised and then you get assessed. So like a home, XAI's facilities in Memphis is getting appraised at a certain value and then assessed at a certain percentage, 30 and 40% of that assessment. I'm not going to go into that and explain that entirely, but essentially XAI's total properties here, the Shelby County Assessor's Office is putting about $3.5 billion value on them, an appraisal. And then they're being assessed at 30-40% of that, and that's bringing their taxes due down to about $27 million for Shelby County government and about $26 million depending on the tax rate for the city of Memphis. So a combined $54 million in taxes, and that would be by assessed value. XAI is now by far much bigger than FedEx, probably a factor of 3, or no, not a factor of 3. I'm sorry, about a factor of 1.5 is now the most valuable taxpayer in Shelby County. It's going to surpass FedEx.
And this isn't even including the other property that they have off of Tulane Road, which could lead to more taxes in the future. Is that right?
No, this is the property. Okay. This year's tax revenue from XAI encompasses both the Colossus supercomputer, which is at 3231 Paul R. Lowry Road in Southwest Memphis, the one that's been talked about the most. And then the new one, Colossus 2, they also call it Macro Hard. They've not spray painted, but painted that on the rooftop, is at 5420 is now included in the tax rolls and is by far, according to the appraisal, the more valuable property at this point. And it is making up 2/3 of the value of what XAI is in the community.
Okay, and I know that there was a lot of talk about at least having a portion of that going to the neighborhood within 5 miles. 5 miles, right?
Yes, it's within 5 miles. The city of Memphis and the Memphis City Council passed a community benefits ordinance that it mandates that a quarter of that money be used for communities within 5 miles of those data centers, which is, given how far apart they are, and you draw a 5-mile circle, is actually pretty big. And so that part of that includes an advisory committee. And that advisory committee met for the very first time last week, and I was at the meeting. They elected some board chairs and vice chairs, and that was about it. And so we'll see how this flows into those communities. I think that's still very much wait and see.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that. Another article, Sam, that you wrote about was about the former officers involved in the Tyre Nichols case, the death of Tyre Nichols back in January of 2023. They could be excused from the civil lawsuit. Tell me more.
Yeah, absolutely. So the civil lawsuit, and it hasn't gotten a ton of fanfare. Lucas Fenton at the Commercial Appeals written a bunch about it, and I've written a good amount about it at the Daily Memphian. But it's really been kind of going quietly in the background for almost 3 years now. It was filed in April of 2023, which was obviously 3 months or 4 months after Tyre Nichols was beaten and killed, and is still going. And it's, obviously now spring of 2026, and it's heading actually towards a trial date on November 9th of this year. And so because discovery has lagged so much in both sides, really, the city of Memphis and attorneys representing Rovon Wells, Tyre Nichols' mother, and his estate. They've been tangling over discovery for really months. You know, they've had maybe a half dozen disputes regarding discovery that have been substantial, that have required either a magistrate judge or a district judge to weigh in on those disputes. And so it's become really lengthy and protracted. And because of that sort of lengthy, protracted discovery, the plaintiffs are simply running out of time in order to keep that trial date, they feel, anyway. And the 5 former officers have been completely stayed in the case because they have a right against self-incrimination, and anything they might offer in terms of testimony or a deposition, you know, could be used against them because they're still facing federal charges, because 3 of those officers are facing federal charges because they're being retried after, you know, a different trial earlier last year. And so this is, you know, what happened on Friday night was the plaintiff said, essentially, we are going to voluntarily dismiss these folks from the lawsuit because we need to keep the trial date. And our main thrust of our lawsuit is whether the city of Memphis had a pattern or practice of allowing officers, you know, to do things like this. Because the real gist of their civil rights case is that the city of Memphis's conditions and work conditions and how they treated the police department and allowed the police department to do what it did is why these 5 men stopped and beat Tyre Nichols on January 7th, 2023. And that's what they say. That's what they argue. The city obviously argues, no, that's not the case. These 5 men were acted rogue. That's why we fired them, etc. And so that is why the plaintiffs are essentially saying they say in the filing, we do believe that these men are responsible for Tyre Nichols' death, but we're really focusing on this case against the city. And it's a very interesting thing.
When could a decision be handed down to either excuse them or not?
I mean, I think we're waiting at this point on, you know, I think the city may file. I'm not sure if they're going to file. The city objects to this. The city does not want these men to be excluded from the case. All the other defendants in the case, which are mostly these men, are good with it. They don't have a problem. And so if the city has a filing, or maybe, you know, Judge Littman will rule relatively quickly. Judge Cheryl Littman has this case in the U.S. District Court here. I don't know, but I think we're waiting on a filing, you know, of some sort, and then definitely the judge has to sign off.
He is the government and politics reporter for the Daily Memphian. You can read his articles at dailymemphian.com. Sam Hardiman joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Appreciate the time as always, Sam. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Dietitians, boy, they play such an important role when it comes to helping people understand the connection between food and nutrition and how it can impact our lives. Let's bring in our friend, our clinical dietitian for Regional One Health. We got Quinay Johnson joining us once again on the Action News 5 digital desk. Quinay, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone. And nice to be back.
Yes. Always good to have you. So we know that there are a lot of processed foods. ultra processed foods, and the way that they are processed affects how healthy they are or how unhealthy they are, I guess you should say. Can you explain the difference between processed foods, what that means, ultra processed foods, and best practices to avoid them?
I like to think of processing as modification. So there's a scale when it comes to processed foods, and it can be subjective, but the things that are constant are minimally processed and ultra processed. Minimally processed or minimally altered food can be your apple, for an example. You pick it straight off the tree, that's as minimally processed as it can get, versus ultra processed foods. It can be like an applesauce that has corn syrup added to it to make it sweet and also has preservatives within it to make sure it lasts long on the shelf and doesn't make you sick, or apple juice with added sweeteners such as corn syrup.
That's good to know. That's a good distinction, Quine. Thank you. And food choices. It's so hard for so many people out there. I mean, price is obviously a factor for so many people out there because grocery store prices, as you know, I mean, they've gone through the roof over the last several years. How do we make good food choices? If you had to just kind of give people maybe 3 bullet points on how to make good food choices, what would you tell them?
I would say knowing how to read a food label and understanding ingredients within the list on the back of food can help you make better options. To limit the amount of ultra processed ingredients you consume could be a great place to start. Two, making things more convenient for you. For an example, investing into buying frozen foods or still buying fresh foods and having tools at home to make sure that it's a quicker process for you to have food available so that you can make healthier options is number two. And then three, again, preparation is best, but having like fresh fruits and vegetables to snack on to make sure that you're getting a lot of vitamins and minerals as best as possible and not being enticed to buy fast food because you don't have any fresh fruit available at home is a third way to make healthier choices.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes, Quine, when it comes to shopping at grocery stores?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe the biggest mistake that can happen is to just not be intentional when it comes to going grocery shopping. So if you set time out before going to make a list and checking the boxes as to making sure that you have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, lean meats, grains, and whole grains, and things of that nature before you go into the grocery store, that can help alleviate some of the issues when it comes to making mistakes at the grocery store. And then also going to the grocery store hungry. Don't do it because you're always going to impulsively buy something versus getting the things that you need to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, I've made that mistake plenty of times. And then I come home and I'm like, what is all this stuff? So, okay, let's talk about suggestions, easy ways, friendly reminders to make it easier to eat healthier each and every day.
One great way to make things easier for yourself is to, again, make a grocery list before you go to the grocery store. Buy things that you're more motivated to eat at home that are still healthy. For an example, I love pineapples. Pineapples, I believe, are in season right now, or apples, and having foods that are less processed or have less ingredients in them to complement those things. So I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I don't do that, but I do sunflower butter. That's something that I could pair with apples, and that's a great snack to have. Also, I'm trying to think of another way. Oh, buying frozen foods. That can be a cheap and also affordable way to get vegetables and fruits in that aren't as processed as per se your canned foods that have added salt in them, or for fruit, canned fruits with corn syrup added into them.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think,
that's
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Let's talk about just, final question, just the main point you want people to remember when it comes to sticking to a healthy diet and how it affects our health.
The biggest thing that I want to be taken away from this is preparation saves a lot of heartache. If you go into something intentionally and have a game plan, you're more likely to succeed or win the game versus just going in willy nilly, no practice, trying to be Michael Jordan.
Quinay Johnson has jokes on a Tuesday. Thank you, Quinay. I appreciate that. We always appreciate what you do as a clinical dietitian at Regional One Health. Thanks again for joining us on the Digital Desk.
Thank you so much, and I'm hoping that everyone has a great day. It was nice talking with you, Andrew.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. Super 7-day forecast featuring a stray chance of a few isolated showers amid a very warm, muggy air mass that's going to be blowing through the area throughout the course of the day today and tomorrow for that matter. But nearing record warmth, by the way. Record high today, 85 degrees. Set back originally in 1946. It was tied in 2012. So we may have a run at it here today. Winds coming out of the south and west, some gusts around 25 to 35 miles per hour as we go through the course of the day. Of course, that big plume of moisture coming in all Gulf, tangling up with a frontal boundary that's looming to the north of our area. That will not be our issue today nor tomorrow, but eventually this front will have a little bit of a swing to it to come in our direction. That will help to kick off more chances for rain and storms by the time we head towards the end of this week. But there is that plume of moisture that may be able to spark a few isolated showers and storms. Let's time it out with our First Alert Futurecast. You're going to notice here throughout the course of the morning hours, there might be one or two runners coming through here through North Mississippi and into West Tennessee. Many spots will likely remain dry here as we go through the course of the day today, but I'm going to keep that mention of an isolated shower or storm in the forecast. Same thing for tomorrow for that matter. But again, many spots will likely remain dry and we'll still have a good amount of sunshine peeking through from time to time as we head through both today and tomorrow. Then Thursday will be our better chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South. And I say that knowing that it's more scattered about. It's not going to be everybody catching rainfall, but maybe a little better chance for more folks to see some rain. Get through the morning without much fanfare, maybe an isolated shower by lunchtime. The better chances for rain will start to roll in here from south to north as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours. And this won't have a lot of vigor with it, so we're not talking about severe weather. But right around sunset, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one or two gusty storms are up around the area, continuing to flow in from southwest to north and east, again topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Friday also features a chance for a few showers and storms, but it won't be everybody catching rainfall. Actually, the coverage may be a little bit less so based off of some of the indications that we've seen so far this morning. But again, get the idea that there is at least an opportunity for a few showers to move into the fold with highs in the 80s. We go into Saturday, and that's probably our best chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South and probably the heaviest bout of rain to contend with. As we go through the morning, I think we at least start off dry, but by lunchtime, the rain starts to encroach towards the east, moving into the Action News 5 coverage area, the more widespread opportunities through the evening and overnight period of Saturday into very early Sunday morning. The good news is that a lot of this rain would be exiting the area by the time we head towards Sunday morning. So we should be in better shape there, but still some cooler air filtering in behind that frontal boundary as it comes swinging through the area. So if you have plans to be out and about Easter Sunday, just be prepared that the cooler air definitely will be there. Sunrise services will also have a chance for a shower. I think the best chances early on Saturday morning will likely be sometime around, say right around sunrise, and then tapering off beyond that and brightening up the skies through the afternoon hours. Mid 50s by lunchtime, will be low 60s by the end of the day, and continued north winds flowing through here. 66 the forecast high coming up on your Monday. A nice rebound in temperatures with mostly sunny skies. A northeasterly wind coming in behind that frontal boundary, and then beyond that, the warming trend continues into the first full week of the month of April. Temperatures to the low 70s on Tuesday, mid 70s and upper 70s by the end of the week.
To the Action News 5 digital desk. If you're new to Memphis, if you've been in Memphis several years, perhaps you're a lifelong Memphian. You're always looking for things to do, places to go, things to see, that sort of thing. The best resource for everybody, I was trying to think of the right word, but the best resource for everyone out there is I Love Memphis, in my opinion. I think it's a wonderful resource for anybody. Any time of the year you're looking for something to do, perhaps you got people coming into town, or you just want to get out with your girlfriends, or a guy's night, or whatever. We got Jalen Suchek joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. She is always in the know when it comes to I Love Memphis and I Love Memphis blog. She runs it with some others out there. And how's that going, by the way? You've been doing this now for quite a bit. Everything going well, Jalen? Good morning.
Yeah, it's great. And Andrew, I mean, I love your intros. You always give the best intro. So thank you for that. But yeah, everything's been great. I've been at the helm now about, almost 3 years. We've been really trying to build up a strong contributor team. So it's not just one voice, it's more of collective voices around the city to just tap into everything there is, because, one person can obviously not do it all, because contrary to some belief, there is so much to do in the city, and I'm happy to be constantly busy.
Okay, so I can't remember the publication, but someone outside of Memphis sent me something that said top 5 most boring cities was Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm like, what, are you on crack or something? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're living in a different world if you think that. I refute that
exactly.
vehemently.
100%. 100%. So anyway, enough about that. I'm off my soapbox. Let's talk.
I know we could go on a whole rant on that.
I know I'm preaching to the choir. Jalen, let's talk about these happy hours that I understand are bigger and better than ever these days, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, in restaurants, we know it's hard, so they have to be a little more competitive. So we always have a happy hours guide to deals. Blog. We just recently updated it because, like the Memphis weather, happy hour deals change quickly. So I say this all with preface that, call ahead if you want to confirm it, or look on their socials just to make sure that it's still accurate. Because again, it can change. They might have new offerings or different days, different hours. This is why we have to routinely update this guide. But I had to ask you, Andrew, do you have a favorite happy hour around the city?
I wish I did. I think I might need to. Give me some
We'll
points.
find you one by the end of this.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess I can just hop in. So our guide has about 15 spots. And I mean, of course, that is not speaking to every great happy hour in the city. We really tried to boil it down to places that have good daily happy hour offerings. Some places maybe it's just a Monday night or a Thursday night. So that's how we kind of organized it. We are always open to more feedback and adding more places. So if you have a good spot, please let us know. We love to take people's recommendations and infuse them into the guide. So I picked 3 of my favorites from the guide. different little spots in town. The first is Bell Tavern, and Andrew, I'm not sure if you've heard of Bell Tavern. Some people, you bring it up and they're never heard of this place before.
I haven't. Tell me more. I'm interested, though. Looks great.
Yeah, and so I think a reason people don't know about it is because it's a hidden bourbon bar in an alleyway in downtown Memphis. So the Barbaro Alley, just around the corner from Aldo's, tucked in there between, like the Peabody and South Main. This is just a great spot in general. Some of the best people work there, and they have a very, very generous happy hour. This is one of my favorites. So you can get $4 domestic beers, $7 house cocktails, and $7 glasses of wine. Those house cocktails include like Manhattans, Old Fashions, French 75s, martinis. Harold is one of the main bartender there. He is kind of, if you know name in the city, one of the best bartenders. So you get a great deal, and you have one of the best bartenders making them. He makes some of the best Old Fashions. I love the French 75. They also have really good food. And if you're still having difficulty placing it, it's in the back of where 117 Prime was. So they use
Okay, yes,
same
I know where
kitchen
that
there.
is. You had me at Hidden Bourbon Bar, Jalen. That sounds like a winner to me.
Yeah, when we posted a reel of them, people were like, I've worked in downtown my whole life and I didn't know this existed. And it's been there for several years. So I always love to share that one. And that happy hour deal is Tuesday to Saturday from 4 to 7. So pretty generous because you don't have too many that give you a Friday and Saturday for those happy hour deals.
Sweet. What
And
else you got?
We are moving into Midtown now. This is one of my favorite bars in the city to go to for a cocktail outside of happy hour or with happy hour. The great news is they have a very, very good, nice, generous happy hour. I am amazed that they still continue having it. It's such a good deal. But this is Cameo in Midtown. It's on Union Avenue, right across from the Firehouse. They have, for their happy hour, half off classic cocktails, draft beer, and glasses of house and red wine, white wines too. And then they also do an $8 Cool Kids burger, which is so delicious. You have to order it. But this is, one of the best cocktail bars in the city. They have just numerous cocktail options. And normally when you're talking about quantity, you're kind of fearful about the quality. You get both at this bar. It's one of my favorites. And their sister bar, Mary's BOTE, also has a great happy hour. That's the Tiki Bar in Cooper Young. But you can get this happy hour Monday through Friday from 4 to 7, and on Monday it's all night long. But love Cameo. It's a great place if you haven't checked it out yet.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome. I love it. Okay, now you're bringing it this morning. I love this, and I know it's the morning, and I know people don't like generally drinking cocktails until the afternoon, but I'm feeling it.
There's a
I've been
reason
up
they
since
start at
2
4.
o'clock. Yes, and I've been up since 2 o'clock. Just saying.
Oh, hey, I used to do those days too, and I got to give you props. It's hard being up that early, and your happy hour starts probably more about noon.
Yeah, or before, but don't tell anybody. Anyway, go ahead.
So my third favorite place, and I feel like this is the place where people are like, no, do not tell people about this. We don't want more people coming. It is Swamp Bar in Overton Square. This is one of my favorite spots in the city too, for food, drinks. Kelly English spot right next to Second Line. Their happy hour it's just like unbelievably cheap. They have $2 High Lifes, $3 Stellas, $4 House Highballs, $5 margaritas, which are really good, $5 Anandas, which is Wiseacres IPA, and $6 house wine. And they do that from Wednesday to Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. So you have the whole weekend in there. And that's just the days they're open. So that's why it starts on Wednesday. So every day they're open 5 to 7. Really cool vibes, just one of the best spots. And I know I'm going to hear grumbles of, why'd you have to tell people about it?
And you said on the I Love Memphis blog, you have like 15 listed, right?
Yep, if you go to our ilovememphisblog.com right now on our homepage, it's one of our feature stories. You can click on it and you can go through all 15 spots, maybe recommend a spot of your own, and you can check out all those deals. I mean, I don't have to put teasers, like Laughlin's on there. They have a great happy hour, so I'm going to leave that as a little teaser to get people to go to it.
Perfect. All right, Jalen Suchek, really appreciate every time you come on the I Love Memphis blog or come on the digital desk to talk about the blog. Always good info, chock full for everybody to see, no matter where you live. We appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew, and I hope to see you at a happy hour soon.
Oh, heck yeah. I definitely will, for sure. I mean, Hidden Bourbon Bar, the Swamp Bar, Cameo. I'm there. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right. Okay, we are back here with live pictures from inside the Shelby County Criminal Justice Center. This is the courtroom where there are 2 sheriff deputies that are currently charged with aggravated assault appearing in court this morning. We're talking about June Armstrong and Israel Mohammed. They were charged with aggravated assault. They're off duty right now as this investigation continues. Let's listen in just for a brief moment as attorneys there are conferring with the judge in this case. Again, live pictures here as we can see the attorneys in this case conferring with the judge. Again, this is involving 2 Shelby County Sheriff deputies that were charged with aggravated assault. The court documents say that June Armstrong pointed a gun at a man while he was fixing his car, and that's when Israel Mohammed began choking him from behind. A witness said that Armstrong gave his gun to someone else on scene once police were called. You may remember Israel Mohammed is one of the deputies who rescued 2 boys from a freezing pond earlier this year. And again, this is involving these 2 deputies there charged with aggravated assault. So again, live pictures that you can see from inside the courtroom. Both men are on leave from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office without pay at this time. And again, live pictures inside the courtroom. You can see that these attorneys are still continuing discussions. This is quite often in these kinds of cases where the case is brought before the judge. The attorneys want to speak to the judge privately before any decision is made officially in court. So it looks like they're wrapping up their discussion with the judge, and once a decision is made, we will certainly pass it along to you. We're going to take a short break here. We will be back in 60 seconds on Action News 5's Digital Desk.
This case that I have, all of them are in.
Okay, back here live in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. You are looking at the courtroom here where 2 Shelby County deputies charged with aggravated assault are expected to appear at any moment. Court documents saying June Armstrong pointed a gun at a man while he was fixing his car, and that's where another Shelby County Sheriff's deputy, Israel Mohammed, began choking him from behind.
For report. Thank you so much for signing that.
Okay, let's listen in real quick.
This is Israel Mohammed, Mr. Working signing this on the April 22nd for report. Thank you, sir. Are you Coleman? Mr. Coleman, you're set to have your attorney. Have you been able to hire more? Do you need some additional time? About how long?
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. Super 7-day forecast featuring a stray chance of a few isolated showers amid a very warm, muggy air mass that's going to be blowing through the area throughout the course of the day today and tomorrow for that matter. But nearing record warmth, by the way. Record high today, 85 degrees. Set back originally in 1946. It was tied in 2012. So we may have a run at it here today. Winds coming out of the south and west, some gusts around 25 to 35 miles per hour as we go through the course of the day. Of course, that big plume of moisture coming in all Gulf, tangling up with a frontal boundary that's looming to the north of our area. That will not be our issue today nor tomorrow, but eventually this front will have a little bit of a swing to it to come in our direction. That will help to kick off more chances for rain and storms by the time we head towards the end of this week. But there is that plume of moisture that may be able to spark a few isolated showers and storms. Let's time it out with our First Alert Futurecast. You're going to notice here throughout the course of the morning hours, there might be one or two runners coming through here through North Mississippi and into West Tennessee. Many spots will likely remain dry here as we go through the course of the day today, but I'm going to keep that mention of an isolated shower or storm in the forecast. Same thing for tomorrow for that matter. But again, many spots will likely remain dry, and we'll still have a good amount of sunshine peeking through from time to time as we head through both today and tomorrow. Then Thursday will be our better chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South. And I say that knowing that it's more scattered about. It's not going to be everybody catching rainfall, but maybe a little better chance for more folks to see some rain. Get through the morning without much fanfare, maybe an isolated shower by lunchtime. The better chances for rain will start to roll in here from south to north as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours. And this won't have a lot of vigor with it, so we're not talking about severe weather. But right around sunset, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one or two gusty storms are up around the area, continuing to flow in from southwest to north and east, again topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Friday also features a chance for a few showers and storms, but it won't be everybody catching rainfall. Actually, the coverage may be a little bit less so based off of some of the indications that we've seen so far this morning. But again, get the idea that there is at least an opportunity for a few showers to move into the fold with highs in the 80s. We go into Saturday, and that's probably our best chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South and probably the heaviest bout of rain to contend with. As we go through the morning, I think we at least start off dry, but by lunchtime, the rain starts to encroach towards the east, moving into the Action News 5 coverage area, the more widespread opportunities through the evening and overnight period of Saturday into very early Sunday morning. The good news is that a lot of this rain would be exiting the area by the time we head towards Sunday morning. So we should be in better shape there, but still some cooler air filtering in behind that frontal boundary as it comes swinging through the area. So if you have plans to be out and about Easter Sunday, just be prepared that the cooler air definitely will be there. Sunrise services will also have a chance for a shower. I think the best chances early on Saturday morning will likely be sometime around, right around sunrise and then tapering off beyond that and brightening up the skies through the afternoon hours. Mid 50s by lunchtime, will be low 60s by the end of the day, and continued north winds flowing through here. 66 the forecast high coming up on your Monday. A nice rebound in temperatures with mostly sunny skies. A northeasterly wind coming in behind that frontal boundary. And then beyond that, the warming trend continues into the first full week of the month of April. Temperatures to the low 70s on Tuesday, mid 70s and upper 70s by the end of the week.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to show you these pictures. This is from Memphis Botanic Gardens spring plant sale. And it is back once again, and it is open to the public, and it is always a great time, kind of signifying that we are back once again in the spring season. I got Wyatt Peterson joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk. He's the greenhouse manager at Memphis Botanic Garden, a very, very important job there at Memphis Botanic Garden. How's it going over there, Wyatt? Good morning.
Oh, it's going great. Good morning. This weather we've had recently is just outstanding. I mean, the blooms we've had, it's been a great few days here at the garden. Everything's really waking up and popping out. We're getting ready for this plant sale. We're very excited about it. So yeah, I'm going to go over a couple plants we have here, if you don't mind.
Awesome. Go for it.
So this is our old-fashioned bleeding hearts. It's putting on a show. I wanted to bring it out. I mean, look at these blooms. They hang upside down. They go along this here branch. A great show every year. It's a perennial, so you put it in the ground once and it always comes back. And that's like a part sun, part shade kind of plant. Now this is a full sun. This is our creeping phlox. It's also putting on a show for us. This thing, very tough plant. Put it in the ground, it's going to creep. It's going to fill up your garden. These beautiful blooms every year. So those are two things I'm pretty excited about. But we've also got a new event coming up as part of the plant sale. If you don't mind me going over that real quick.
Let's hear it, bro.
So we've got the preview party. So this is new. It is a 21 plus early access ticketed event. So that is going to be April 15th. That is 5 to 8 p.m. Like I said, you can, it's early access. Tickets are $25 for non-members and $20 for members. You get a cocktail, get to come in and browse the evening before the plant sales really start, and get early access to all of your favorite selection. So that's something we're really excited about. That's a Wednesday evening.
So let me ask you this, because my understanding is that the spring plant sale for members only is on April 10th, and then it's open to the public April 11th and 12th from 9 until 4. Is that accurate? And again, tell me about the April 15th event.
Here, I'll go over. That's not accurate, but that's okay. I'll go over what we've got this year. So April 15th, 5 to 8 p.m. is the preview party. We've got April 16th, 12 to 6 p.m. April 17th, 10 to 6 p.m. and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and April 18th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, appreciate that. You're giving us the accurate dates there, so I appreciate that. Now, tell me, some of these pictures here that we got. This is from last year or previous years, right?
Yes, that's correct. And people are having a good time there and picking up their plants. You know, one thing that I really like about this plant sale that we offer here is that, community members of Memphis can come in. They can talk to our horticulturists. Our horticulturists have selected this plant palette, everything being sold. It's stuff that works here in this region. And as you know, this is a tough region for some plants. We get some extreme weather. It's untimely weather, and it is very extreme. So we're selecting plants that won't fail. They will work for you. They work in this region, and they put on a great show for you. And more importantly, they fit into the Memphis palette. We have a beautiful city. We have a great canopy. We always have awesome azalea blooms everywhere. This stuff will fit into your lawn. It will look right. It will complement everything, and it will help the ecosystem, and it will help the neighborhoods be more beautiful.
I love that. I love that a lot, Wyatt. And again, I just want to push to your website to go over the different dates and how much things cost in order to go. There's a cost associated to the spring plant sale, is there not?
There's a cost associated to the preview party. The preview party, again, is April 15th. It's 5 to 8 p.m. It is $20 for MBG members and $25 for non-members. And that's exclusive early access to all of our selections.
Gotcha. And the 16th, 17th, and 18th, is there a cost there?
No, not at all. Please,
okay.
Please come. Come for free. Yeah.
Okay, and once again, give us the website so everybody knows.
MBG.org is our main website. That's actually it's membg.org, and you can learn more about our plant sales, our dates, and all other upcoming events here at the garden. And I just want to say that everybody's patronage at this garden, it supports everything we do here, and we're really trying to grow a more beautiful Memphis. So all of your support, we really appreciate it, and it helps us very much. It helps the city.
No question about it. One more thing, Wyatt, that I think gets overlooked a lot of times, and you just brought it up a moment ago, is the fact that there are experts there at the plant sale to kind of guide people on what would work best in any kind of setting in your garden, shade, lots of sun, that sort of thing, right?
Yes, sir. Our expert horticulturists will be here to answer any of your questions and help you pick out the right plants for your space.
Perfect. Wyatt Peterson, greenhouse manager of Memphis Botanic Garden, joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk, talking about the annual plant sale there next month in April. Well, of course, 15th is a preview, and then you got 16th, 17th, and 18th. You can go to what is it again? MBG, right?
MEMBG, yeah, MEMBG, like Memphis. MEMBG.org. It's kind of a mouthful.
I know. Yeah. It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Listen, Wyatt, thanks so much. We appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Well, there is a new series with someone very familiar to you, Mike Wolfe. He is American Picker star on the History Channel, and he's got a new series celebrating America's rarest collectibles and iconic stories. And he is the host, the executive producer of this new series. He is someone that most people recognize searching for hidden treasures, American Pickers. I'm sure that you have heard this story as an ultimate treasure hunter. And joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk from as far away as Nashville, Tennessee, he is with us now talking about his new series and his adventures in Memphis. Mike, it's great to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your adventures in Memphis.
Okay,
Good morning.
well, oh man, I appreciate the opportunity. We are still airing American Pickers. That show has been on for 16 years now. That is actually a show that I pitched for 5 years, and I was living in my van. I bought a camera. I was traveling the country, buying and selling things, and I wanted to start documenting it. And so all of that hard work has led to this interview that we're at right now.
Excellent, excellent. So this is a brand new series, and I have some video that we can roll as you talk about it. Tell me a little bit about how this series differs from what's currently on the air for the last 16 years on the History Channel, Mike.
Okay, so it's different and it's similar in the respect. So there's a high level of storytelling on this show, just like there is on American Pickers. You're not going to see me actually pick anything, though. You're going to see me introducing pieces. We're going to cut to a reenactment. We're going to cut to an expert, and then I'm going to do the out. I'm going to do what they call wraparounds. But I was involved in picking these stories that we're talking about. It's exciting to me because we're talking about American history, which is the history of all of us, and I think that's important for us to still dive into.
I agree, and I'm looking at it right now. It looks really cool, seeing some vintage things. Can you talk about some of the things that that you'd like to, that you guys are going to highlight on this new series?
This episode that you're showcasing here is transportation related. It talks about the Batmobile. It talks about James Bond's car. It talks about a 1908 Harley that was discovered in a barn in Wisconsin. It talks about James Dean's car. But that's just one episode. Each episode is themed. There's 8 episodes. So we're going to be talking about anything from space-related stuff to electronics to sports-related things. There's just a huge gamut of what we're covering on the show. But the exciting thing about this show is we're talking about how it was found, who found it, and then we're showing what it realized at the end of each piece. That's one of the things that a lot of people have always been curious about on American Pickers is they're like, I see you guys buy this stuff and I see what you pay for it, but we never see the end result. This show changes that.
Do you go by cities? How does it work exactly? Peel the curtain back, if you will, about, do you camp out in one area and then go to all the destinations, or do you go from city to city based upon the iconic finds that you see?
Well, on American Pickers, that's exactly what we would do. We would travel for 2 weeks on the road at a time. We would camp out in a city, and then we would go off in different directions from that, that hive. But on this show, we actually filmed 8 episodes in 4 days in my warehouse in Columbia, Tennessee. What you're seeing me walk past right there, that's actually my stuff. That's a warehouse full of my collectibles. It's a 1947 Chevrolet dealership that I'm walking through there.
That is so cool. I love it. I love it. And so you're right down the road from us here in Memphis and the Mid-South. Anything that we can talk about that you perhaps found that's a little bit related to the Memphis area?
Well, I mean, we did a show there with a guy, I can't remember his name. He runs for mayor every year. He threw flour all over Frank and I when we were Prince Mongo.
Mongo?
Prince Mongo
What?
was the guy's name. You know that guy?
Of course. Everybody knows him.
Okay.
He's an alien
well, we did a
from
show
the
with
planet
him,
Zamunda.
and we bought some oh my gosh, we bought some great historic signs from record stores that were in Memphis. Frank and I used to drive around Memphis 25 years ago and go into neighborhoods where there were a lot of buildings that weren't occupied and try to find out who owned the building so we could buy the neon sign off the front of it. So we've been at this for a very long time, and I love Memphis, man. I mean, obviously I'm a music fan, but it's really the people, just like any place else. The people have so much to be proud of there, and you can feel that.
I couldn't agree with you more. 1,000%, Mike. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk for our audience how people can watch this, when they can watch this, so we can bring up those numbers.
Okay, so it's 9/8 Central on the History Channel on Sunday. There's going to be 8 episodes, and the first episode airs this Sunday, 9/8 Central on History.
Excellent. Mike Wolf joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thanks so much for giving us the update here on your one and only greatest picks and this new show. And congratulations on all your success. I mean, 16 years having that long of a tenure of one show is fantastic. So way to go. And hey, listen, you love Memphis. We love you back. So we appreciate your time, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. It's time to check in on one of the prettiest places in the entire Memphis Mid-South area. Jenna Harris is at Memphis Botanic Garden right now to talk about tulips at twilight. It sounds like an amazing event for adults, right? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're excited to bring y'all out here and see all of our beautiful tulips that are starting to bloom right now. We have a lot of things going on with our whole season of bloom. Tulips at twilight is going to be one of those. At the rate the tulips are going, it might be strings in the spring or, our tulips. Mother Nature is coming in just a little bit earlier than we expected. So right now our tulips are in full bloom. This weekend is going to be a fantastic time to be able to come out and see those. The weather's looking great for that. You can come out, see the tulips in full bloom before we get that little shot of cold weather. There'll still be tulips a little bit later in the spring. But again, we've got all of the different things that are starting to bloom. The great thing about being here in the garden is that every day it's beautiful. It might not be exactly what we expected when we expected it, but there's always something blooming and something looking fantastic out here.
It really looks amazing, Jenna. I mean, those tulips just look gorgeous. Tell us exactly where you are at the Botanic Garden.
Yeah, so this is what we're calling Tulip Terrace. This is back across from the Japanese garden near our Blecken Pavilion area. And historically, this hillside has been covered with daffodils. A lot of those are already done blooming. They come out a little bit earlier in the spring, in the late winter, early spring. And so this year, as a part of a big celebration of bloom, we planted tulips all throughout the garden. This is one of the largest concentrations of tulips in the garden is Tulip Terrace. And for tulips at twilight, and they'll be playing beautiful string music as the sun is setting. You can purchase a meal and be able to be here out in the garden, enjoying your dinner and some cocktails while the band is playing the music back here within the.
Okay, so this is April 3rd, right? So this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock? Can you hear me, Jenna? Uh-oh, I think we lost you.
There you go.
Okay,
Gotcha.
good. I was going to say, this is April 3rd from 6 until 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, this is going to be April 3rd. So again, our tulips might be done by that point, but everything else will be blooming and beautiful, and we'll be able to enjoy the garden space as everything is blooming. Right now, we're waiting on those cherry trees to pop. We'll have our cherry blossom picnic coming up here in a couple of weeks, which is one of our favorite times at the garden. It's one of our kind of our kickoff of spring here at the garden, and we'll be able to enjoy that as well. So it's looking like you're going to be able to see everything blooming at one time out here before we hit into those southern favorites with our azaleas and some of the other things that'll be blooming throughout here.
And if people want to see just more information on various events that you guys happening throughout the spring and summer months, give us the web address one more time.
Yep, you can visit our website at membg.org. You can go on there. That'll have all of the information about all of our upcoming events. We've got our Sunday Garden Club classes. So if you want to learn a little bit more about gardening and how you can make your yard look like this as well, you can come to some of those. And then all of the other things we have coming up and the links for the tickets will be on there as well.
Okay, Jenna Harris, appreciate you as always, and the beautiful 96 acres at Memphis Botanic Garden. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. If you're like me, you are always trying to figure out a better way to get a better night's sleep. It's so elusive for so many of us. We are so busy. Our lives are just chock full of all kinds of busyness with work and various activities outside of work. So it is so important to get that sleep for so many health benefits. So how do we do it? Not next week, not this weekend, tonight. How are we going to do it? Well, let's bring on someone who's an expert in sleep. I am joined right now by Prahad Sharma. He is a pulmonologist. He's also a sleep physician at Regional One Health. He leads a sleep clinic at the hospital, and he's joining us right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Prahad, thank you for joining us here. Where do people, first off, make their biggest mistakes when it comes to trying to find a way to get some good rest out there? Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes?
So I think there's a lot of things that we could do. It's not the mistake that we make, but it's basically that we don't know that all those small things matter. As for everything else, preparation is the key for the sleep. So if you prepare yourself well, then you may have a good night's sleep. But if your preparation is not that good, then the sleep may not be that great. And what we talk about that is what you do throughout the day, what you eat throughout the day, how you spend your day, what happens throughout your day does matter your sleep. At the same time, how you sleep, when you sleep, and what environment you sleep in also affects your sleep.
What's the biggest factor in getting a good night's rest? If you had to name it, I know there's several, okay, but if you had to name the biggest factor in getting a good night's rest, what is it?
So first thing is, I think you need to prepare yourself, as we said earlier, that have a relaxing environment, calm down, what we call the wind down time. And when you go to the bed itself, you have to stick on a schedule, because things work better if you stick to a strict schedule. And sometimes it's difficult over the weekend. What is more important at that time is you try to fix your wake up time, because you can control that. So if you remain on that rhythm, what we call the circadian rhythm, then your sleep is better. And when you go lie down on the bed, make it dark, quiet, cool, and comfortable, so that you can sleep well without having any external disturbances to you. No TV, no cell phone, no blue light, nothing in the bedroom.
What's the ideal amount of sleep? Sometimes people get too much, sometimes people get too little. What's ideal?
Everyone has their own requirement. Few people need a little bit more. Few people may be okay even on the less amount of sleep. So anywhere about 6 to 8 hours may be normal for most of the people. There are few people who may function okay when they sleep 4 to 6 hours. We call them short sleepers. So that maybe few people who may be sleeping 4 or 5 hours may still be okay. But if you are sleeping more than 8, 10 hours, then again, that is abnormal. You should not be requiring that much of sleep. But all of those things change it with age and time.
I know a lot of people have sleep apnea. It's a pretty common condition out there. Can you briefly explain some of the issues associated with that and the best remedies from your perspective?
Yes. So as you said, yes, sleep apnea is very common, and 1 in 5 male and about 1 in 6 or 7 female will have sleep apnea. But a lot of them goes undiagnosed or underdiagnosed, because people don't realize the symptoms they are having may be coming from sleep apnea. So few of the symptoms are people may just have mild difficulty kind of thinking, brain fogging or something like that, or they may also have early morning headache, which goes away after a few hours, or they feel a little bit irritable throughout the day, maybe a little bit sleepy during the day. So all those may be just a telltale sign of sleep apnea, but if they go unnoticed for a long time, then you run into other problems.
Okay, we know that so many people are looking at screens, and we know that perhaps people's diet isn't the greatest when it comes to winding down, as you mentioned earlier, to get that good night's sleep, that good night's rest. What are some of the key takeaways? If you had to make a bullet list of maybe 3 or 4 different things you can do right now, tonight, to have that great night's sleep, what would you do?
Okay. Again, I will say wind down time is very important. So that's when you reflect on. Some people who likes to write may even do journaling or something so that they can vent out their feeling so that they can go to the bed relaxed. And reading books, doing something very quiet and not too exciting, not too entertaining helps. And also another thing is smoking and alcohol intake, because a lot of people think like maybe if they drink maybe a couple of glasses of wine or drink, they may feel sleepy and they may sleep better, but it works the other way, meaning your good quality sleep is taken away and you wake up not feeling rested, feeling tired, because the very important part of the sleep called the REM sleep is taken away. At the same time, if you smoke before bedtime, that is a stimulant and that will not let you fall asleep quickly and causes more problems. So preparing the right environment, not drinking too much before the bedtime, not smoking, and having a very comfortable bed is the key to have a good sleep.
Right. Also, a cool bedroom, right? I mean, you want to make the temperatures.
Yes, cool bedroom, very comfortable. Yeah, it may be worth investing in finding a very comfortable mattress for you.
Excellent. Okay, one other thing, there's a lot of sleep aids out there. Some people might take melatonin, some people might take an Ambien, some people will, have a gummy, a CBD or something. What do you think of those 3, and do you recommend a sleep aid?
So it depends what is driving the problem. So because if it is sleep apnea, which is one of the most common problem, then those aid may not help. Because if it is sleep apnea, then we have to diagnose with the sleep study and treat you for that particular problem. But other problems, let's say people cannot fall asleep because there is misalignment with the time and everything, then on those people, melatonin may help. And the pills like Ambien, that is more for the problem, what we call insomnia. And for that one, people have difficulty initiating sleep, and Ambien may help, but that is not the best medication, because a lot of the time trying to find what is causing the problem and attacking or solving the underlying problem is the best modality.
Okay, Prahad Sharma, we appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Very informative, and it's something that I think so many Americans struggle with, getting a better night's sleep. And hopefully, people have been taking notes and really kind of thinking about a better night's sleep tonight through some of your recommendations. So we appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Let's talk about cholesterol for a minute. We hear about good levels of cholesterol, bad levels of cholesterol. We hear about good and bad cholesterol. Let's bring in someone to decipher what all this means and how we can lead the best healthy life possible. I'm joined right now by Dr. Anna Yang with Regional One Health. Dr. Yang, again, thank you so much for joining us on the Digital Desk. So we hear so much about good and bad cholesterol. Tell us about these two types and how we should deal with them both. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks again for having me. So yes, cholesterol can be a little bit difficult to understand. So cholesterol is something that everybody has in their body and everybody needs to have in their body. It's really important for a lot of your body's functions, making cells and some vitamins and different things. So everybody has to have cholesterol. So where cholesterol becomes a problem is when there's too much of it. So when you go to your doctor and you get your cholesterol levels tested, you usually get a whole slew of numbers called the lipid panel. And so on this lipid panel, you might find things like total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. So what you hear about when people say bad cholesterol is they're generally referring to that LDL. Or the low density lipoprotein. And this is a type of cholesterol. And these are the bad cholesterols because they're responsible for narrowing your blood vessels. They're the ones that if people say, oh, you've got too much cholesterol in your arteries and they're clogging your blood flow and, you're at risk for certain things like, heart disease or strokes. That's what they're talking about is that LDL. Now, on the flip side, the HDL you actually want more of. So the HDL is, quote unquote, that good cholesterol. And the good thing about the HDL is it actually helps you remove the unwanted cholesterols from your body. So it brings cholesterol back to the liver is one of the things that it does to remove some of the cholesterols that you don't want to build up. So that's what makes it, quote unquote, the good cholesterol.
So let me ask you, because I know that these numbers have changed over time. There have been numbers where the bad cholesterol or the overall cholesterol can't exceed 200, and now that number's been reduced. Tell me where we are on the proper levels. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right.
Sure. So the most important numbers are really the LDL and the HDL. That total cholesterol number doesn't matter as much as those two, and the ratio of how much LDL versus non-LDL cholesterol that you have. The main non-LDL cholesterol is HDL, but there are other non-LDL cholesterols out there too. So the LDL cholesterol, we would like that number lower. So ideally under 100. Now, certain people who already have some medical conditions may want that number even lower, potentially even, less than 80 or 70, depending on other factors. But in general, LDL under 100 is the goal. The HDL, on the other hand, you want higher. So greater than 40 or 60 or, higher numbers are a good thing for HDL.
Okay, so I'm just thinking about my panels when I get blood work done. Sometimes they were like, okay, you got to keep your cholesterol levels under 200. Are they factoring in HDL and LDL with that?
So generally with that 200 number, they're talking about the total cholesterol number, which matters as well. But truly the LDL is the more important one that you want lower.
Okay. And what about lipoprotein little a? Because that is something that more and more people are talking about. And I'm just wondering if that is a big concern when it comes to heart disease.
Yeah, so it's a different number now that people are using to measure, and it does seem to correlate with risk factors for things like heart disease. So even though that number isn't traditionally in your typical lipid panel, sometimes doctors, again, depending on your risk factors and what other medical conditions you have, are ordering this test too as another way to measure the cholesterol levels and your risk and whether or not you need to be on potentially medication to lower your cholesterol.
Okay, and what are some of the best ways to improve our cholesterol numbers?
So non-medication wise, diet is really where you really need to, monitor for your cholesterol. So the majority of the cholesterol that your body needs is already being made by your liver. So you really don't need extra cholesterol. And you get cholesterol from animal products. So these are things like meat or dairy or eggs. So you want to decrease the amount of saturated fat that you're eating. These will contribute to your LDL going up. So saturated fats, especially things, that you find in these animal products. But you want to increase instead the diet of good fats. So these are your unsaturated fats. These include things like avocado fats, fats that you get from nuts or seeds or fish. So changing the ratio of where you get fat from your diet will make a big difference. For those who are overweight, even losing just 5 to 10 pounds can make a pretty good difference on your cholesterol numbers. The other thing is increasing fiber, increasing your soluble fiber intake, decreasing your overall calories. These also make a good difference with your cholesterol as well, raising the HDL and lowering the LDL.
What's the most important thing you want people to remember when it comes to cholesterol, your numbers, how to bring it down, everything that we talked about?
So the first step is to check. So the first step is to make sure you go to your doctor and you get appropriate screening. Sometimes these aren't things that you feel. Sometimes people with normal weights have elevated cholesterol without knowing it. It's not always just something you get when you're overweight or obese. So make sure you go to your doctor. We even recommend children now get screened for cholesterol because we're seeing that even children are having problems with high cholesterol. So the first step is just to make sure you go to your doctor, get screened at appropriate intervals, do what you can, to improve your own habits in your daily life. And if necessary, potentially starting medication as prescribed by your doctor to lower your risk, for heart disease, strokes, and even losing your arms or legs. Because you don't have, good blood flow to these parts of your body.
All right, Dr. Anna Yang, we appreciate your time as always on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Very informative this morning. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Through North Mississippi and into West Tennessee. Many spots will likely remain dry here as we go through the course of the day today, but I'm going to keep that mention of an isolated shower or storm in the forecast. Same thing for tomorrow for that matter. But again, many spots will likely remain dry and we'll still have a good amount of sunshine peeking through from time to time as we head through both today and tomorrow. Then Thursday will be our better chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South. And I say that knowing that it's more scattered about. It's not going to be everybody catching rainfall, but maybe a little better chance for more folks to see some rain. Get through the morning without much fanfare, maybe an isolated shower by lunchtime. The better chances for rain will start to roll in here from south to north as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours. And this won't have a lot of vigor with it, so we're not talking about severe weather. But right around sunset, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe 1 or 2 gusty storms are up around the area, continuing to flow in from southwest to north and east. Again, topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Friday also features a chance for a few showers and storms, but it won't be everybody catching rainfall. Actually, the coverage may be a little bit less so based off of some of the indications that we've seen so far this morning. But again, get the idea that there is at least an opportunity for a few showers to move into the fold with highs in the 80s. We go into Saturday, and that's probably our best chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South, and probably the heaviest bout of rain to contend with. As we go through the morning, I think we at least start off dry, but by lunchtime, the rain starts to encroach towards the east, moving into the Action News 5 coverage area, the more widespread opportunities through the evening and overnight period of Saturday into very early Sunday morning. The good news is that a lot of this rain would be exiting the area by the time we head towards Sunday morning. So we should be in better shape there, but still some cooler air filtering in behind that frontal boundary as it comes swinging through the area. So if you have plans to be out and about Easter Sunday, just be prepared that the cooler air definitely will be there. Sunrise services will also have a chance for a shower. I think the best chances early on Saturday morning will likely be sometime around, right around sunrise, and then tapering off beyond that and brightening up the skies through the afternoon hours. Mid-50s by lunchtime, will be low 60s by the end of the day, and continued north winds flowing through here. 66 the forecast high coming up on your Monday. A nice rebound in temperatures with mostly sunny skies. A northeasterly wind coming in behind that frontal boundary. And then beyond that, the warming trend continues into the first full week of the month of April. Temperatures to the low 70s on Tuesday, mid 70s and upper 70s by the end of the week.
Lakeisha, can you hear me? Lakeisha, can you hear me? It's Andrew Douglas in Memphis.
Ah, there you are, loud and clear. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we're just a few seconds away. Just wanted to say hello. You sound great. You look great. Stand by, okay?
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There has been so much anticipation of this Artemis II flight that is set to carry 4 astronauts around the moon. It marks humanity's first crew journey beyond low Earth orbit in more than a half a century. A big deal. And joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk, I have the pleasure of talking to Lakeisha Hawkins, a NASA expert, to talk more about Artemis II, its significance, what it means, why people should be excited about it, and where exactly the astronauts are headed. Lakeisha, I appreciate your time on the digital desk. So let's talk first about this mission, some of the thoughts about why it's happening, and why should people be so excited about it? I know a lot of people who follow this, like I do, are excited, but why should the general public be? Good morning.
Good morning, and I'm excited to be here from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and we are go for this mission. I believe that everybody should be excited about this because we are returning to the moon. This is the furthest that humans have gone away from the Earth ever. And this is the first time that we will be returning to the moon vicinity and beyond in over 50 years. This will be an opportunity also to establish the gateway for us to go to the surface of the moon. And we are making plans to establish a moon base on the surface of the moon. There's a lot of excitement, and this next mission opens the door to that.
So we're looking at some video of the astronauts that looks like they're getting prepared for this journey. Can you talk about some of the main goals of this 10-day test flight and what we hope to learn?
Well, this is the first time that we will be sending astronauts. We had an uncrewed mission. Our last flight to the moon was an uncrewed mission. This is a very important addition. First of all, when we send our friends, Victor Glover and Reed Wiseman and Christina Cook and our Canadian partner, Jerry Hansen, they'll be checking out our life support systems, making sure that the spacecraft, first of all, can sustain humans. They'll also be checking out the ability to control the spacecraft, maneuver the spacecraft successfully, which will be very important when we get ready to dock to a landing system that will ultimately actually take crew to the surface of the moon. So this is a test flight to be able to show that these initial systems work as they should. And then it's also an opportunity for us to show that we can set a trajectory, a course to the moon, and successfully bring them back to the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego. If we can do all of that, and we fully expect that to be successful, then we move on to the next part of this stepped approach to building a moon base.
So you mentioned building this moon base on the south pole of the moon. Tell me why that specific area of the moon, Lakeisha.
So we're going to a different part of the moon than we did on Apollo. We're going to the South Pole. The South Pole, we believe, has lunar water ice there. There are permanently shadowed regions of the moon there. And if we can figure out how to harness that water ice, that opens up the ability to be able to have water to sustain humans, oxygen to sustain humans, and even to be able to create fuel should we want to go on to further destinations like Mars and deeper even into space beyond that. It also sets up our ability to sustain that long-term presence on the moon as we begin to add elements like habitats and rovers, power systems, communication systems, all the things that we need in order to be able to live and work and conduct science on the surface of the moon.
Tell us how we can all stay involved with this mission. How can we watch? Is there a place we can go online?
Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully we are going to be everywhere over the coming days. If you want to check us out on NASA Plus, but we also know that our partners and friends on social media and the media outlets will also be covering what we do. So please follow along with us. We're getting into our final count and journey with us over the next 10 days as we make this mission to the moon and beyond.
We have a few seconds left, Lakeisha. Is there anything else you wanted to mention to our audience? We have thousands of people who watch us each and every morning here about this mission that we haven't mentioned already.
I'm so excited about our future, the future of this moon base, the fact that we are going with our commercial and international and friends in academia. I was a kid when shuttle began and was able to see that, and I really hope that there's a kid that is watching and following along with us that will take us to that sustained presence on the moon and take us on to Mars.
Lakeisha Hawkins with NASA, appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Congratulations on getting to this point right now, and we are eagerly anticipating the next steps and that lunar travel and that around the world travel over the next 10 days. We'll be following it closely here in Memphis. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
We're go for launch.
All right. Thank you. Another live look from our High Five camera. Downtown Memphis, going to be a great day. We'll talk about your forecast in 1 minute.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis. Super 7-day forecast featuring a stray chance of a few isolated showers amid a very warm, muggy air mass that's going to be blowing through the area throughout the course of the day today and tomorrow for that matter. But nearing record warmth, by the way. Record high today, 85 degrees. Set back originally in 1946. It was tied in 2012. So we may have a run at it here today. Winds coming out of the south and west, some gusts around 25 to 35 miles per hour as we go through the course of the day. Of course, that big plume of moisture coming in all Gulf, tangling up with a frontal boundary that's looming to the north of our area. That will not be our issue today nor tomorrow, but eventually this front will have a little bit of a swing to it to come in our direction. That will help to kick off more chances for rain and storms by the time we head towards the end of this week. But there is that plume of moisture that may be able to spark a few isolated showers and storms. Let's time it out with our First Alert Futurecast. You're going to notice here throughout the course of the morning hours, there might be one or two runners coming through here through North Mississippi and into West Tennessee. Many spots will likely remain dry here as we go through the course of the day today, but I'm going to keep that mention of an isolated shower or storm in the forecast. Same thing for tomorrow for that matter. But again, many spots will likely remain dry, and we'll still have a good amount of sunshine peeking through from time to time as we head through both today and tomorrow. Then Thursday will be our better chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South. And I say that knowing that it's more scattered about. It's not going to be everybody catching rainfall, but maybe a little better chance for more folks to see some rain. Get through the morning without much fanfare, maybe an isolated shower by lunchtime. The better chances for rain will start to roll in here from south to north as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours. And this won't have a lot of vigor with it, so we're not talking about severe weather. But right around sunset, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one or two gusty storms are up around the area, continuing to flow in from southwest to north and east, again topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Friday also features a chance for a few showers and storms, but it won't be everybody catching rainfall. Actually, the coverage may be a little bit less so based off of some of the indications that we've seen so far this morning. But again, get the idea that there is at least an opportunity for a few showers to move into the fold with highs in the 80s. We go into Saturday, and that's probably our best chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South and probably the heaviest bout of rain to contend with. As we go through the morning, I think we at least start off dry, but by lunchtime, the rain starts to encroach towards the east, moving into the Action News 5 coverage area, the more widespread opportunities through the evening and overnight period of Saturday into very early Sunday morning. The good news is that a lot of this rain would be exiting the area by the time we head towards Sunday morning. So we should be in better shape there, but still some cooler air filtering in behind that frontal boundary as it comes swinging through the area. So if you have plans to be out and about Easter Sunday, just be prepared that the cooler air definitely will be there. Sunrise services will also have a chance for a shower. I think the best chances early on Saturday morning will likely be sometime around, right around sunrise and then tapering off beyond that and brightening up the skies through the afternoon hours. Mid 50s by lunchtime will be low 60s by the end of the day and continued north winds flowing through here. 66 the forecast high coming up on your Monday. A nice rebound in temperatures with mostly sunny skies. A northeasterly wind coming in behind that frontal boundary. And then beyond that, the warming trend continues into the first full week of the month of April. Temperatures to the low 70s on Tuesday, mid 70s and upper 70s by the end of the week.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. So how are those New Year's resolutions going? You know, it's March. A lot of times people drop off on all that. You know, the commitment to get healthier, exercise more, eat right. Sometimes it drops off in the month of March. But if you're still hanging in there, well, we've got an idea and certainly a topic to discuss with Two people who are in the know when it comes to health, fitness, diet, exercise. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Samantha Pennington, studio leader, John Broadway, a personal trainer. Both work at Lifetime Fitness in Collierville. Let's talk about nutrition, because I think a lot of people miss that point when we talk about bettering our body and bettering our brain. Nutrition is so important. Oftentimes, some people like to say it's more important than even exercising. Where do you guys stand? Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I definitely agree with that point, Andrew. We get members coming in to join. They're always talking about exercise. That's their first priority. But when you think about exercise, that's really maybe a few hours a week, maybe 10 hours a week at max. When we talk about nutrition, we're doing that every day. We're eating multiple times a day, and it's going to help support our energy. It's going to help us recover and perform the best we can.
Fantastic. Samantha, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I always use the analogy, do you take care of your car? Do you get your oil changed? Do you put gas in your car? So I kind of reciprocate that to the body, right? If you want more energy throughout your day, if you want to feel fueled, not dehydrated, like what are you doing and what are you putting in your body to help yourself live a healthy and happy life every single day and not feel low energy or feel like you are slumming around a little bit? You probably should check into what you're putting into your body to help sustain yourself throughout the day.
Yeah, no question about it. It's something when you are dealing with a fine, well-oiled machine, anything that you put into it could either have great benefits or could really put you behind the eight ball and you could be really lacking. So let's talk about some of those simple ways to fuel not only our body but our brain as well. And feel free to jump in whenever you guys want to talk about an issue. But yeah, let's talk about those elements of fueling both the body and brain.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it all really starts with carbs. A lot of times we hear people say we need to cut back on our carbs, but really carbs, we need those for just our body to function properly. You want to probably shoot for about 45% of your calories coming from carbs. So almost half of your calories coming from carbs. And then you want the carbs because you're going to be able to fuel your workout. When we talk about the main fuel source for building muscle, it's going to be your carbs. So if you don't have carbs, kind of like to Samantha's analogy, you're running on empty. We don't want to run on empty when we're trying to build muscle.
Yeah. So behind us, we have our protein powder and it's Build. So in Build, we not only have the protein grams in there, but we also have your essential minerals, vitamins, probiotics, your fiber. So it's really important that in addition to our carbs, which is our energy source, that we're intaking that protein as well to help replenish the breakdown that we create while we're working out. I know sometimes it's hard. It is spring break time. People are going on vacation, but being able to balance pleasure, right, of going out to eat and enjoying yourselves with friends, right, it's all in moderation. And so we discussed a little bit that it's just small changes, right, whether it's you're a little bit more prepared when going on vacation and you bring your protein powder with you, because you might be going to a pizza place on the water at the beach, so being mindful and 1% better every day will help bring yourself to that point of, okay, now I'm eating, healthy almost all the time. So it's those little steps along the way that you're going to want to change before that big impact really occurs.
Appreciate both of you weighing in on that. Great, valuable information. Let's talk now about sugar intake. So many of us are trying to do our best to watch sugar. It is in everything. I don't have to tell you that. It is certainly an issue for so many people. So how do we watch it and how do we reduce that intake?
Yeah, so biggest thing that I would say is look at your nutrition labels and track how much added sugar that you're taking in. So those natural sugars are okay to take in, but really it's just like you're looking at double-digit added sugars. you probably want to cut back on those, but also track like your serving size, because you may be eating a bigger portion, multiple servings. So instead of eating 2 servings, 3 servings, let's cut it back to 1, and that way we're in moderation. Another thing too is swapping those foods out for natural sugars, so like fruits, veggies, is going to be an easy way to make that transition.
I like that. That's great. What about hydration? Because, you know, there were a couple trains of thought. So a lot of people are like, oh, you got to drink water. You got to drink 8 ounces of water at least, or eight glasses. You know what I mean? And so the hydration can be an issue. But then there's other people that says, whoa, whoa, whoa. You need something in that water. You need some sort of electrolytes or salt or whatever. Tell us your best methods.
Yeah, so again, behind us, we have our hydrate. It's sitting on top like a little tier. So I teach a lot of heated classes here at Lifetime. We have, hot yoga and hot Pilates. So in those classes, people are usually sweating a lot amount, and in saunas as well. But what they don't know, it's not only drinking enough water prior that day to your class, but also getting your electrolytes in the day before, so that when you're going in, you're completely hydrated, and then you're hydrating even more after that. Just to your point of sodium, the salt intake, that's going to help replenish way more of that sweat that you have lost in your workouts and in your sauna sessions than just water will. Our hydrate, we have a bunch of flavors that are very yummy. So anybody can purchase these off the Lifetime shop.
Final question before we let you go, and we're wrapping up here. Fiber in diet is very important. What are some easy ways to get that into our diet?
Yeah, I think it goes back to just like veggies, whole grains, like just your natural foods. One of the most important things is look at your nutrition label. You want to try to get foods that have dietary fibers like 3 grams, 5 grams. Not only is the benefit of the fiber, but also those foods are more likely to have vitamins and minerals, heavy doses of them.
Yeah, and obviously supplementation is really simple to do. You can throw some fiber in your drink, your protein shakes. Our Build protein powder with that all-in-one is going to have some fiber in there as well. But also too, like those natural plant foods, like John was saying, eating your veggies, that little difference that you can change within your nutrition will help your digestive system a lot more than, trying to eat greens all day, every day. So remember, those small little changes that you make will make it easier once we start getting into those long-term goals.
As much as I like to see you guys working out on camera, and we've done that in the past, this is a very important conversation as well. So appreciate you guys, Samantha Pennington and John Broadway, coming on the Digital Desk. Valuable information on nutrition for both your body and your brain. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
A little bit less so based off of some of the indications that we've seen so far this morning. But again, get the idea that there is at least an opportunity for a few showers to move into the fold with highs in the 80s. We go into Saturday, and that's probably our best chances for widespread rainfall here across the Mid-South, and probably the heaviest bout of rain to contend with. As we go through the morning, I think we at least start off dry, but by lunchtime, the rain starts to encroach towards the east, moving into the Action News 5 coverage area, the more widespread opportunities through the evening and overnight period of Saturday into very early Sunday morning. The good news is that a lot of this rain would be exiting the area by the time we head towards Sunday morning. So we should be in better shape there, but still some cooler air filtering in behind that frontal boundary as it comes swinging through the area. So if you have plans to be out and about Easter Sunday, just be prepared that the cooler air definitely will be there. Sunrise services will also have a chance for a shower. I think the best chances early on Saturday morning will likely be sometime around, right around sunrise, and then tapering off beyond that and brightening up the skies through the afternoon hours. Mid 50s by lunchtime, will be low 60s by the end of the day, and continued north winds flowing through here. 66 the forecast high coming up on your Monday. A nice rebound in temperatures with mostly sunny skies. A northeasterly wind coming in behind that frontal boundary. And then beyond that, the warming trend continues into the first full week of the month of April. Temperatures to the low 70s on Tuesday, mid 70s, and upper 70s by the end of the week.
Okay, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We got midday coming up at the top of the hour with Jerry Askin, and then join me once again tomorrow morning, a Wednesday edition of the Digital Desk at 9 a.m.